So my name is Henry Zeyamo. So originally from Burma, Shan State of Tongji. Okay. I was grew up there, as a young Catholic guy, just like you guys. Just go to church once a week, and be a normal, right? Then when I was 13, um, my family and we moved to the refugee camp in Thailand, which is named Onpyeong. It's a Korean refugee camp. I was there for 6 years. During my time in the refugee camp, I went to the school and eventually became a part-time volunteer trainer, then became a trainer for 2 years. I was teaching basic computer and English. So for my vocation story, began, I think, as I remember, when I was maybe 17 years old. I started to realize that in the refugee camp, we only have a priest like once a month or sometimes 2 months. We only see once. So I really think that we need a priest, to come and be with the people, because we need Eucharist. We need the sacraments of reconciliation, the compassion. So that really, touched my heart. That I also think that God's calling me to do His will, to serve His people. But I'm not quite sure when I was in the camp, because when I turned to 19, I found a girl that I loved for a while until I wasn't sure that should I go for marriage life, which is one of the sacraments, that God gives to us, or should I go to a priesthood? So my mind is like 50-50. So I keep praying, We used to pray we used to have like all-night adoration once a month. We would begin like 6 evening to 6 in the morning, or 8 in the evening to 8 in the morning. So those times, I really pray to God, and God, show me, the right path for I should walk. But eventually, after 6 years in the refugee camp, my family and we were able to come to the United States. We arrived in Buffalo, New York in 2013. So I'm not really, sure yet. I still keep in my mind that to be a priest or to be a father of the children. But so I keep praying and praying, and so eventually go back to school here, because I cannot go back to high school here, so I have to go back to GED and get my GED and go to college. So I went to college for 1 year, and during those first 2 years, I came here once, and like you guys, just come and have fun, make friends, and to enjoy like my retreat here. But the second year, I really something really like pulling my heart to do really strongly. I think that's God's calling me, to Henry. This is time for you, to begin your vocation. So and also pray, when we, I might get up early, like 5:30 or 6, and just come here and sit. And I saw some other people also come and sit. So I think that time, in that moment, I realized that, God really, really want me to follow Him. So I think in our own life, sometimes we need a quiet time, right? So people might ask, "Oh, Henry, how you can listen? Can you hear the calling of God?" So I think, if you're really busy with your own schedule and with social media and other things, there's a lot of things on your plate. So you there have a place for God. So from my point of view, I would like to encourage you guys to, to listen, God whispering, So to continue, so the second year it was, came here and I really touched, by God. And so I talked to my pastor in Buffalo, New York, which is, I didn't know they are a missionary priest, a religious priest, but I just talked to them, and they said, "Oh, Henry, if you are interested, I will introduce you to one guy or a priest, the vocation director." So I go talk to him, and okay, that's good, So he keep giving me information, and so I look through all the booklets and magazines, and go to the online stuff, and then a month later, they invite me to San Antonio, Texas for come and see. So when I went there, I see how they are living as a community and what their mission is. So the order I joined is the religious order, which is Missionary Oblates of Mary Immaculate. It's a religious congregation. So later on, Brother Christian will share about the diocesan's life, right? So for me, as a religious brother, I really, really enjoy, since I joined the oblate, the religious order, I found a community life, in religious order or congregation, the religious life is the fundamental, key, for us to sustain our missionary. So we live as a community, we do as a community, we pray together, we eat together, and we work together. So for the process, for our congregation, we will have 2 years formation we call pre-novitiate, and during 2 years we also have to study philosophy 4 years. So 4 years. Then the next level we will go to a novitiate, 1 year novitiate. Then after novitiate we will study theology for 4 years. Then eventually, if you decide to become a priest, then you can go that way. Some people, okay, I think I'm called to a brother, just brother, so you don't need to study theology. You just need to study philosophy and go to novitiate, and then you can take your perpetual vow. So, yes. So for our congregation, either a brother or a priest, we also have a nun too. If you guys are interesting. So we have to take 4 vows. Remember the other 3? Yesterday the sister shared. Obedience, chastity, poverty. Okay. For us, we have to take 4. The last one is perseverance. Okay. So either way, some orders only take 1. They take obedience, but under obedience, there's follow chastity, poverty, and perseverance. Okay. So after we take all the perpetual vow, so you became a missionary priest or brother. So today, I think around the world, the oblates go to missionary to 62 countries around the world. So as a religious missionary, we have to go wherever the superior sent. We could be in Africa or Asia or South America or maybe in this country, wherever God sent us. So we have to, like Father David Mumia shared this morning, we have to go out to the world and proclaim the gospel, right? So this is our charism. Well, the charism is to take care of the poor and the youth, okay? So we really, really focusing for the youth because the youth are the futures of the church, right? So if there's no youth, our church will be died out. Last year I hear our bishop of Buffalo said, if there's no youth, there's no priest. If there's no priest, there's no church, right? So because God, calls a priest brother as as a representative of Him to continue His missions, to continue His salvation mission. Okay. So I think this is all I have to say. Now I will turn the microphone to Brother Christian to share the diocesan's life. Okay. After his sharing, we will take questions if you have, especially for guys.
Hello. My name is Khui, and I'm from Burmese-American. So 11 or 10 years old, when I was 11 or 10 years old, I moved to United States. My father was already in United States when he called us, so our whole family moved when he called us to United States. And like for my vocation, for the priesthood, I've been healing it like my whole life because my mom would always pray for me for my vocation, and like I don't really. It was in the back of my mind. I didn't really think about it. Priesthood. I thought it was high school. The thing that really made me think of like priesthood was like my mom always told me story like when I was born. They have like two daughters, my two older sister, and then she would pray like she want a boy, and then if she gave him a boy, it would be to turn it into him again to praise his name and stuff like that. So that's what really encouraged me to start thinking about priesthood when I start think, that's what made me think about priesthood. When we moved here, I don't really think about it. It was in the back of my mind, and then my mom would always pray in her prayer, like when she prayed, she would always pray for my vocation and whichever is God willing me to become a priest, a marriage life, or a single life, whichever one is God calling me to become, that's what I will become. So she will always pray for my vocation. And back in middle school, I wanted to be a photographer. I want to take picture of nature. So that's what I was thinking about in middle school. And then when I went to high school, I shadowed in that to become a photographer. So in the freshman year of high school, that's what I was really into about. So that's what I was thinking about becoming. But later on, I lost that. I didn't really think about it. During my sophomore and junior year, I was basically like doing nothing. I didn't even think about my future. I was just staying, like, just going to school, coming back, and nothing else. So during my senior year, that's when I really had to decide what I want to do with my future. So I started really thinking about it in the first semester, but I didn't really know what to do about it. And I didn't even know there's a seminary exists for the people who want to become a priest. So one of the ministers from my school, he was in charge there. I talked with him. When I first told my counselor, he was like, "There's a few seminary in a diocese. You can try researching about it and look into it." So I did that, but I didn't know which seminary to go. There was one near. I looked for like Josephinum. I looked for that one, and I was thinking about going there because I didn't know there was a diocese at there was a seminary at my diocese. So, and one day when I went back to my counselor introduced me to a ministry from my high school. So after that, he wanted me to serve the mass for the school. So I start doing that. I start going to daily, if I can, daily mass in the morning. They have a mass, or during channel 1 where we have free time, they have mass during that time too. So I will usually go there to serve with the priest and get more experience of it. That's how I learned more about it. And later on, my vocation director from the diocese came to our school to do mass, and then the minister introduced me to him, Father Augustine, Father Eric, not Augustine. So I talked with him. I told him what I was thinking about. I was not sure yet, so he told me to talk with my pastor and pray more about it, and then contact him when I really wanted to go on with the process. So for the few weeks, a month, I pray about it, and I pray about it to whether if I want to continue on that one or not. So I went to my pastor 1 or 2 times to talk with him, and he was really encouraging me to try it out if that's what I'm calling to or not. So I did that, and when it was during Christmas break, he's a father now, but he was a seminarian back then. He visited my house. His name is also Khui Shing. He went back to Burma already. He visited it, and I talked with him. He was like, if you're thinking about it, I can help you with it. And then he helped me. I talked with him about what I wanted to do, and he helped me call Father Eric again. So I called him and I told him I wanted to continue on with the process, and he told me what the process on becoming, the process of becoming a seminarian. So we make a date to meet. We meet at my school on the first time, and so after that he told me the process. I have to get accepted into the university, and after that I have to get accepted by the diocese, and then after that I have to get accepted by the seminary. So there are 3 processes that I have to go through before I become a seminarian. And then there are also a small step like I have to do psychology, meet with a psychologist, and then talk with about whether if I can become a seminarian. They look at those, and they look at my medication and stuff. When I first got into the seminary, I never visited the seminary because I didn't know there was one exist until I met Father Eric, and he told me that I cannot go to Josephinum because it was in another state, Ohio, Columbus. So he said that we only send the Indie people to the Indie diocese seminarian. So I went there on my first orientation day, and I didn't know anybody. I was the only Burmese there, so I didn't know anybody. And back in high school, I didn't talk with anybody. There are like 40 or 50 people in my class, but I only know 10 of them, and I only talk to like 10 people, and those are the only people I know. So when I first got into the seminary, there are like 40 brothers, and then like. And I don't remember their name. Like I never for the first week I just go where they want us to go: morning prayer, evening prayer, night prayer. I went there. I didn't talk with anybody much. When they say hi, I just say hi back, and I went to my room, and then I did that for a week. I did nothing, and then so I start thinking to myself like, if I want to stay here, I have to improve myself. I have to be more social. So I start talking to more guys, make joke, and talk with more about them, and then I get to know them a little by little, class by class. So I get to know my roommate first. After that, my class, and after that, the next class. So I start learning their name, and so now I remember almost all my 40 brothers. So this is the first time I remember like 40 people in my life. I never really talk with much. So after that, I never shut up in the seminary. I always talk, so they will be like, whenever I introduce myself, they always thought I was quiet, and then they would say like, no, he's not. we want him to shut up, but he won't shut up. So, so I was talking with, joking with, playing with them. So we usually play soccer. That's what I like to do for fun. So we will play soccer Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Sunday after mass, and Tuesday and Thursday after evening prayer, and then Thursday after mass. So that's what we will usually do, and they also like a lot of sport that we play. So now I'm going to talk about like the seminarian life, what we do each day. So I'm just going to talk about for what we do like each week. So on Monday, we wake up at 6:45. 6:45 in the morning. We do morning prayer and mass together. After that, we can get our own breakfast, and if they have 8 o'clock class, they go to class. So we were free until 5 o'clock for evening prayer. So after evening prayer, we will have free time until we have. There will be optional adoration on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I think. So after that, we have 9 o'clock night prayer. So on Tuesday, it's the same thing. 6:45 morning mass with morning prayer, and we will have 4 o'clock adoration on Tuesday, and then on Thursday we will have adoration at the Miriam, the school that we go to, because the seminarian is connected with the college school. So we will stay in the seminarian to pray, to do formation, but we will go study to the university to get our academic. And for those people, the young boy who are like interested in becoming a priest, what I would encourage you to do is talk with your pastor, and then pray more about it to God, talk with God, and He will guide you to whether if that's what you call to or not. And then, so thank you. Any question for us?
I know that I was a seminarian too, and we are different than the American seminarian, particularly because we're attached to our cultures, traditions, and the way we do things, even the way we eat. So, how do you cope with the culture's challenges during your seminary formation or school? Yeah, we not only have our language barrier as well. Yeah. So, can you explain that to people? I'm sure this is not only for seminary, it's all of us.
Yeah, this is good questions. My first year, I really struggle about that too. In our house, we only have 12 seminarians, but we like one Burmese, like 3 Mexican, and like 1 Filipino, 2 Canadian, 1 Polish, and others American, German, Irish. So like some people that's their culture, right? Like for example, they were called priests by like John. Hi John, how are you? Right? For me, like I don't really like it. We have to call like Father John or like Father Augustine, right? But sometimes I share with them, like in my culture, when we sit in the same table, I say, we as seminarians and the priests, we don't even sit or eat the same table. With the people, the people and the priests, we will sit lower level, right? But even though we talk, we don't call by first name, we call by the title or, the relationship, right? Like uncle or aunt or a professor, right? Like teacher. You don't call by name, but so to solve the problem, for me, I just, like I share my opinion, so they will listen, and some people, they cooperate, like they will call me like, okay, brother Henry, right? But mostly they used to be, like, oh, Henry, what's up? Right? So for me, I'm okay with, I say I'm okay with any, but I don't like anyone to call a priest by first name, right? But if a priest call a priest by first name, it's okay, but some priests say it's not appropriate, right? Even a priest has to call other priest father, someone, right? So that's the thing. The other thing is, food. That's my first year. I ate everything what they prepare, but the second year I stopped eating meat. So because I don't really like how the way they cook, and the taste of the chicken, pork, and beef every day is like the same. No spicy, no hinchumo. So I just okay. Don't worry for me. I just gonna eat vegetable and fish, whatever they have. So sometimes they ask me that, oh Henry, if you go to mission, what are you gonna eat? If you don't eat meat, so I say, don't worry for me, because I grew up in the very tough environment. Everything's moved, we eat, right? So don't worry for me. I will eat anything the parishioners or the people provide me. So that's how I cope with, right? So yes, if I go to the visit or traveling, I will eat whatever the people prepare for me, because I don't want to say like, oh, I don't eat that thing, I don't want to eat that thing. But for me, if I stay home, I can cook the way I want, like just simple vegetable and rice. That's okay. So in the house, we have to share cooking, right? Saturday, Sunday, the seminary has to cook for the priest and all the seminarians too. So in my turn, I always cook a lot of spicy. You can smell the whole convent, the whole residence, like you can smell. But they said they really like it. So I think, if you really share with your whole heart, you prepare everything you have, and you try to open. For me, I always open my heart, my mind to the other culture, especially the American culture. Because I think I know Mexican and us really is really similar. We eat spicy, and we really friends. We would say things like, if I don't like it, you just say I don't like it. Don't do that. So for me, those things. So you just need to, for me, you just need to open and accept the other culture. Yes, you do this thing, and then you say I do this thing. Like how about we share, like sometimes we will have Mexican, Filipino, and Burmese foods in one table. So even in the rosary, we have Polish, Filipino, Burmese, Ukrainian, or English, and Spanish. So for the mass too, we will have like Spanish song, English. Sometimes I can add Burmese song, offertory or something like that. So
for me, I don't really. One of the things was language barrier and food. For the language barrier, like I don't speak English well, so I can't pronounce like some of the things wrong. Some of the things, so they will always like say like, "What you say, Khui? What you say?" So like they can't hear me, so they will always like it's not make fun of, but just like joke with me more about it, and then like they can't hear me, so they was like. They will always like mess with me when I can't pronounce things, but they will help me to learn more about it. The other thing was food. Like when we first came here, or almost my whole life, at some other people's house, not even my aunt's house. So I would always eat at my house. I don't know what I do at school, but I think I eat at school. So when I went to my aunt's house or some of my uncle's house, when they have like a dinner, they will like put the rice for me, and I will always say I'm not hungry, even if I'm hungry, because I don't know why, but I don't like eating at other people's house. And then even when we go to different places like picnic or something, I don't really eat much. I would just eat chip or something. But after moving into the seminary, I can't do that anymore because I'm I'm there for the whole semester basically. So if I don't eat, I will be hungry for the whole night, the whole day, and I don't really have money on my own, so I can't go out and buy. I don't have car, so I can't do that. So I just eat what they have, and then as I do that and do that, like all the food are good, and I like them, and now I will eat whatever like that they serve. So now I'm getting used. I get used to eating like two different places. When I bring Burmese food, like boxy dumpling, so when I eat that, they will always ask like, "What is that, Khui? Can I try it?" So that's what they will ask, and I say you can try it, and they will eat it. And then the dumpling, like when you like cook it or like when you warm it up, it smells a little bit. So they were like, "How can you eat that, Khui? It smell." They will always say that, but I was like, I get used to it, and I like the smell, so I eat it. And in other words, I like eating ramen noodle. So I will have a pack of ramen noodle. I will always ask my sister to bring it. She will always bring it for me. So I will have that at the seminary. And usually when I don't go eat, when we don't have dinner in the seminary, I will always cook that and eat it. And then in the ramen, some of the ramen noodle, it have like 1,000 sugar, like a lot of sugar. And then when I was cooking it, they will come like look at the package and read it and then how many calories you have and everything. And they were like, "Khui, you eating this? Is your stomach okay?" Like stuff like that. So they will always ask those questions, and I was like, "I'm feeling fine. I like it, so I eat it." So those are the things that have a.
One question is, we Burmese have like this really close bond with family and like stuff like goals. Since in this state of life as a seminarians, do you guys ever feel like you guys have to take a step back to family goal and close like some ties because you're not like fully you're more devoted to what your seminary life and family?
For me, you will be surprised. I would say, with my family, I talk to someone used to say, post on Facebook, with your brother and sister, 1 minute talk on the phone. With your mom and dad, it's 3 minutes to 5 minutes. With your girlfriend or boyfriend, 2 hours. so, so, so for me, I don't, yes, I visit my family once a week, or maybe because I just live 10 minutes away and I have a car, so I can, unlike the sister, I can drive whenever I want. And for me, yes, for some others, they came from Texas to Buffalo. It's difficult for them. They got homesick, miss family. But for me, I think I'm used to it. In my family, we don't talk much, but we work together a lot. We say, "Oh, Alex, we're gonna do this thing." Okay, then we just did it. So for me, my relationship to my family, it is okay. When someone's needed, we just give encouragement and help as much as we can. But if we have, for me especially, when I join the religious, I know that I have to leave my family because unlike the Taoism, you can live close to your family. But for me, wherever, this coming year I will be in St. Louis, which is 12 hours away from my parents. And next year we'll be in San Antonio, Texas, which is 38 hours away from my family. So I think the most important thing we need to know is, Christ said, leave everything and follow me, right? So doesn't mean that, you have to cut connection, everything with your family, but, a lot of time we have to, follow up, fulfill the requirements of the seminarian's life and all the duties that we have to do, like study, ministry, and prayers, right? Communal prayer or personal prayer. So for me, I would say 5% of my time I give to family, 30% for my study, the rest would be my ministry and prayer.
For me, my house and the seminary are like really close. So it's like 28 minutes or 25 minutes using the interstate. But if you don't use interstate, it's like 35 minutes. So it's not that far away. So and usually I will go back visit during Holy Week. But I don't really call home much to talk. But sometimes my mom will call me and see how it's doing, and we will talk. We don't have a uniform, but like there's like a dress code at the seminary. So during mass, you have to wear a collar shirt or with. I don't think you can wear long short pants in the sacristy. So it would be long pant and then a collar shirt, no sweatpants, and then you can wear sweatpants during night prayer, but other than that, you cannot wear it. Night prayer is like you can wear anything, pajama, you can wear pajama to night prayer too. So most people do that. And then for the Sunday Mass, we usually have to dress up in a formal with a tie.
For us, for me, yeah, we do have the habit, but we will get the habit when we take the first vow. So I still need one more year to wear the habit. You will see me next year wearing the habit all the time. But the thing is, that's the problem, the culture shock, right? In this culture, even though a priest don't want to wear habit or collar, but I say like, what? Wearing a habit, collar is the visible sign for Christ, right? Oh, this is a religious person, religious people. So for me, I really, really want to wear it proudly. Whatever happened in the church, I want to be a sign for Christ. So we have a habit for the novice or scholastic. We only have a small cross, which is not this one, the metal one, the oblique cross, and then we will have a habit, pretty much look like brother kinds of habit. We have black and white, and when we take the perpetual vow or final vow, we will have a big cross, like what's the curve? Yeah, we have the belt and the big cross, like yeah. I wish I could show the picture, but any more questions?
What is the state of mind that you want when someone is considering Seminarian life to have, and how do you keep yourself, or how do you recommend someone keep themselves on track when they're in the seminary life, trying to become a priest or something like the religious form?
Okay. My first year, I really have discouraged because people come in and out, right? We start with 12 and 3 left. Only 3 of us remain, the rest gone. So in those times, really, my first time, I was crying, the whole night. Like, why, they are living, my good friends, they're smart, and they always help me with my English and a lot of things. So when I talked to my spiritual director, he said, Henry, that's what he said. A smart live early, and a good die young. So he always reminds me that one time he's a Jesuit priest. So he said, Henry, when I was joining the Jesuits first year, second year, he said, there's 5 of them. In those times, when someone's leave, you don't know when they're leaving. The next morning, you only see the empty bed. So you have to take really courage and pray, right? And he said, one time he saw his very close friend sleeping. The very good car, the Chevy something 64, was parked in front of the car, and the blondie-haired ladies coming in, and the 2 of them was watching. Brother, it's like the girlfriends or the sister, and then the 2 of them say, yeah, maybe his sisters. You don't want to say the girlfriend and the guy says, okay, take care, guy, bye-bye. So for, a lot of time, we will have a discourage, right? I don't really, have a language barrier and, culture shock and a lot of things, I used to consider myself not as smart as, people think, or I think. But every time I see a priest or like visiting priests from Burma, they always say one word, have perseverance and prayer. So I think that too will keep us, to continue our discernment as a seminarian to be a priest. So always remember, pray and have perseverance. So the rest God will provide.
For me, when I have in those state of mind, when I start questioning whether God is really calling me to become a priest or not, I will always, there's adoration almost every day, so I will go to adoration and talk with God whether is that's what He's calling me to or not. So adoration really has been helping me with my process of discerning. So, and I will encourage the people who are thinking about priesthood, thinking about becoming a seminarian, to go to adoration and then pray more about it. So. I think we will have break first. How many minutes? 1 minute?